Donald Trump is, I think he's got a very strong instinct for entertainment as part of his business. But I think it's also relevant how Donald Trump is reading his audience. And he's in a Republican primary, and he thinks this works. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it, right? Donald Trump, if he knows anything, he knows marketing.
By the way, I want to put this in context. This is the governor of New York talking to Al Sharpton. We're going to have more on that in the last Gimme 5 of today's show because we play some of Al Sharpton's greatest hits. There they are kvetching about mean old, racist Donald Trump. And we got Al Sharpton calling Greeks homos, calling David Dinkins the N-word, talking about Chinamen, all kinds of great stuff. So please. But Jillian K. Melchior joins us, writer for the National Review, fellow for the Franklin Center and Independent Women's Forum. Check her out, nationalreview.com, of course. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, so you wrote your latest piece about the Donald.
Indeed.
And just to have the, wherever I go, I carry the Donald's button.
The button?
Yeah, there it is. Anyway, I don't know if it's good luck, bad luck, or no luck at all. But interesting, you scrutinize his voting record and his stance on issues in the past.
Yeah, that's right. And
he hasn't voted in a while.
Yeah, it's been 6 primary elections that he has not voted in, which I find incredibly interesting given that he himself is now a primary candidate, and he's flirted with running for president before, in 2000, 2004, 2012. He was tossing his name out there as a possibility, yet didn't bother to show up at the ballot box to cast his vote for a Republican candidate. No,
that's interesting. And again, I want to point out that, we're doing this because I think it's all fair game.
Mm-hmm.
I like Donald Trump. I mean, I think, I don't know that people are going to say, people who like him are going to say, well, he didn't vote. They'll probably say, well, I didn't vote. I don't vote either, or I haven't voted. Sometimes I don't want to vote. He's just like me. But some of his positions, as all of them, I mean, and especially Hillary, on the Confederate flag when she was First Lady of Arkansas, her husband signed it into law and celebrated Confederate Flag Day, and gay marriage and DOMA and the whole, so they all changed. But Donald Trump, who has given money to Democrats, who I believe gave money to Hillary, has changed on a lot of issues.
Absolutely. When I went up and picked up his voter registration, his voter records, they were pretty thick. In fact, the guy printing them out was surprised at how thick they were, and that's in part because he's changed parties so often. We're talking about somebody who,
okay, he changed his party affiliation?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a Democrat, he's been Independence Party, he's been a Republican, he's kind of all over the place.
He's Mike Bloomberg.
So I was curious, if he's not voting in the primaries, maybe he's, exercising his political will in other ways. So we actually looked through his Federal Election Commission records as well, found out that he has given more money to Democrat candidates than to Republican candidates. $476,000 to Democrats in the past, I think it was 15 years. $452,000 to Republicans. So
very close, but still, yeah,
it's close. But I think he's toning up the rhetoric. He's trying to come out hard, appeal to the Republican base. But this is a guy who has a very mixed record as a Republican at best.
No, and true. And in defense, one might say he's a businessman. He's not a politician, so he needs to play both sides to have like most businessmen do. But it is very interesting nonetheless. His appeal. What do you attribute his appeal to? I mean, just that he's the antithesis of Hillary, yet Hillary fancies herself as the champion of the average person, right? Yet she doesn't talk to them. She reads from a script. She lies. And Trump is just the opposite.
Well, I think, and I'm not a huge Trump fan. I think he's a bit of a demagogue right now. I think he's playing the populist card in the worst possible sense. And I think this is something that, it's forcing the Republican Party, much like Herman Cain in the previous election, to talk about issues that it wouldn't necessarily have otherwise addressed. Now, whether or not he's actually being helpful with that rhetoric is an entirely different question. I think it's a pretty negative influence on politics.
You think Reince Priebus actually told him to tone it down?
I wouldn't want to speculate on that.
That's a big debate.
Yeah.
All right, well, what else did you find? You were talking about Mr. Barrett, who did a book. His first name, Barrett.
Wayne Barrett.
Wayne Barrett, yeah.
Fantastic reporter, Village Voice guy, investigative reporter for years. Has done a phenomenal job reporting not only on Donald Trump, but Al Sharpton as well. And I'm very much looking forward to reading this book and getting some more context. But one of the things that he repeatedly highlights is how Donald Trump has, used these political connections in ways that potentially benefit his business dealings. And then, also he looks at a lot of, the connections that he's had in the business world. A lot of them have been involved in, some pretty shady things. I'd encourage everybody to read the Daily Beast article that he wrote in 2011 about some of his business associates and their potential ties to organized crime, to drugs, to prostitution yachts in the Mediterranean. I mean, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, all right. And again, it's all fair game. But if you want to take it on the Hillary side and Bill Clinton, and there's a whole book to be written, and many have, and many more will be, about their affiliations and their connections to shady characters and people who have gone to jail, etc. So going forward, when he gets up there on the debate stage, is that going to be a make or break moment for him, do you think?
Well, I think it's a question whether or not he'll actually end up there.
Why?
So right now there's speculation that they may have to have filed all paperwork with the FEC. Donald Trump's saying he's worth $8.8 billion. It's been a sticking point in the past for him to disclose how much he's actually worth, because you can do some creative math.
If he doesn't get up on that stage,
yes,
he will catapult in the polls. he will zoom past everybody, and that debate will become almost meaningless.
I am fascinated by what sort of political game he's playing, because I don't think he's a serious contender. I don't think he's going to get the Republican nomination.
What do you think his purpose might be?
It may be to build his brand, but that could possibly backfire. We've seen the Macy's drop him, NASCAR drop him, all of those sorts of things. It may just be entertaining for him. I don't know.
Well, it's entertaining for me, I'll tell you that, and I think for the American public, whether you like him or don't like him, I think he resonates with a lot of people. Good work as always.
Thank you.
One of the best investigative journalists in the world. Now, why stop at the country? Keep up the good work. We're coming back, folks, with the Malzberg panel. Don't go away.